Hello warriors, welcome back to the channel. We are here yet again with a recent development in the series of current affairs that we post which are relevant for the purpose of our UPSC CSE examination. So today we are going to discuss a very pressing concern which is about dengue being a matter of concern because it is getting an image, it is forming up, it is spreading in such a large extent that the WHO states it that it might be the case that it becomes a condition wherein we can quote it as a global pandemic. We are going to discuss about this pressing concern in this session today, and we'll also be discussing about the transmission cycle, what are the symptoms, how can we prevent it, and whatever measures that are there for this particular disease. So let's quickly get started. So if we consider about why is it in news in particular, so there are over 12 million active cases that are there present globally. The global burden of this disease is increasing exponentially day after another. We see that there are 8,000 deaths that are reported across 86 countries since 2024 has started, and we have not yet even completed the year and the number is such huge. There is a surge that we have seen of dengue over the past few months because temperature of a region plays a very integral role in the transmission of this particular disease. Also, it is seen that Brazil has reported the highest number of cases, which is exceeding 9 million, followed by Argentina, Paraguay, Peru, and Colombia. So, we as a country are very far off, yet we see that the global burden of this particular disease, the number that this disease has, shown to us in terms of the spread, in terms of transmission, it is very, very large, and hence we globally should do something about it, not as a country at that level. Of course, that would add up to a significant amount of change, yes, but measures should be taken such that this particular issue is addressed at a global level. Next up, we have the statistics for India, wherein we talk about how many cases are we dealing presently in this particular realm. So right now there are close to 19,000 cases that have been reported presently for India, and that is why it is a matter of concern, because it is just not that the cases are being reported, there are also fatalities that are being caused. The people are also dying due to this. It is causing severe danger. Dengue at all times, it is not that severe as we speak of it, but when it takes that point, when it takes that role that it worsens the situation in terms of spread, transmission, in terms of the body capacity, the immunity system to handle, then it becomes a problematic situation. The key facts that relate to dengue per se is that it is a break bone fever. The pain is so much so that the person is unable to bear it, for that matter. It is a viral infection that is being transferred by the facilitation of a vector, and the vector herein is a mosquito, a female mosquito named Aedes aegypti. It pertains to transfer the disease, the virus as such. We are going to talk about the transmission as well, but for now this is something that you all should know, that the name of the vector is Aedes aegypti. It is a female mosquito which acts like a vector. While dengue infections are asymptomatic, the more severe cases are so worse, they are so real, I would say, that they can even cause death, as we spoke about it. The prevention and control of dengue is basically pertaining to our sanitation and hygiene. It does not have a lot of technicalities within, because this particular disease is caused due to a mosquito. If we can avoid that, of course things can be better. Also to note that this mosquito, which is Aedes aegypti, this is majorly bred in terms of the clean environment. It is said, it is observed, and it is researched about that this mosquito is basically found in clean water. It breeds in clean water. So we should not have clean water stored anywhere in our vicinity, because that's what becomes problematic. So if there is still water in your vicinity at any point of time, we should make sure that we remove it at that particular time, because at times we see that mostly during, say, the cleanliness drives that we take place in the society, and also within our homes, that we, the regular cleaning that we do, we see that in our desert coolers, in our vases, and at many other places wherein we have things that can hold water. If there are the things that are present in our vicinity, then there are high chances that this particular mosquito can breed, and it can cause lethal damage to your body, to your known people, to the individual in itself. Moving on, if we discuss about the condition in India, then it has reported, as I said, it has reported close to 19,000 cases, which is still counting, and this count is valid only till April 30, 2024. We don't have the present day count, and look at the number, it has outnumbered a lot of cases. The fatalities that have been reported as such are 16, but again, it is concerning because the condition in India is something that we can control as of now. But if we, look off it, look through it, then things are not going to be better. It will worsen day by day. Then the symptoms, if we talk about the symptoms herein, then there are mild or no symptoms. As I said, that the disease that is caused, it does not show symptoms at the very initial stage, but when it becomes severe, we are going to talk about both the severe symptoms as well as the normal symptoms. Normal symptoms majorly comprise of severe headache, muscle and joint pain. It is about pain behind the eye, nausea, vomiting, swollen glands, rashes. Sometimes it is also seen that the blood count lowers down. We'll, in transmission, we'll discuss why does that happen. And in this particular thing, what happens is that when the blood count lowers down, it is seen that there are blood clots that are there on various parts of the body, majorly observed in, say, eyes, um, in somewhere in the form of rashes, and that's how we come to know that something is happening. And hence people must take a very vigilant watch of their body when they feel that they are under the weather, when they feel that they are finding something very uneasy, if they feel very weak, then they must consult a doctor, they must consult a general practitioner and get themselves tested. If we talk about the severe dengue symptoms, they majorly occur about the time when the fever has already gone away. And these severe symptoms are severe abdominal pain, persistent vomiting, rapid breathing, bleeding gums or nose, as I said, that the blood vessels break up, the fatigue, restlessness, blood in vomiting or stool, being very thirsty, pale and cold skin because the blood count is lowering down, feeling weak again for the very same reason. So these are the things that happen majorly when your dengue fever has worsened. Next up, we have the diagnostics. So there is no standardized test, but through rapid test and through blood test, we can basically identify whether or not a person is dengue positive. Also, it is seen that the blood platelets, that is the CBC count, is taken just so the identification can be confirmed that okay, this person has dengue. Then there are medicines that we are talking about. Then according to WHO, as such medicines are not present, but relief can be caused while the use of whilst the use of paracetamol and ibuprofen, which majorly is a steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, and paracetamol being acetaminophen, which lowers down the pain. So with the combination of this and some other medicine that majorly boost your platelet count and everything, the treatment of this particular disease can be done. the transmission, as I've been speaking of for a longer period of time, how does that happen? So we'll quickly talk about it as to how does that happen. So what happens is that the mosquito that we spoke of, Aedes aegypti, that mosquito has certain sporozoids. Sporozoids are present in its saliva. These sporozoids are present nowhere but in their saliva. It is also believed that these sporozoids are very capable enough to even, breed and give rise to a new mosquito. But herein we are talking about the transmission cycle. So what happens is this saliva gets transferred to a person, right? And here what happens is that the liver of this person, the person gets injected and the liver of this person gets impacted directly. What does that happen post that the cells here starts to degenerate. The cells starts to degenerate, and post that what happens that when the cell starts to degenerate, when the quality of the cell lowers down, it becomes problematic for the liver to regenerate, because we know that liver is one such organ that regenerates, also it repairs itself. When this particular capability is lost, then what happens is that RBC come out of the cells, and that's when the major identification mark of this particular disease, which is lowering down of platelets, that occur. And since these RBCs burst out, it is seen that bleeding also occurs in various organs of ours. Now this cycle is going on and this mosquito is here. Now what happens is that this person is now dengue infected. Now this person has dengue. Now what will happen? Now this mosquito that has initially bitten this particular person, this mosquito itself will go to another person, say another mosquito, or the same mosquito goes back to another person, and the cycle repeats itself. Here we'll have one more human interaction, and it's really not that the cycle will remain very rigid as such. It might be the case that this human, like amidst this transfer, there could be numerous humans that appear herein. Hence that's how the cycle works, as in if this mosquito goes to one person and then this person is dengue positive, the same mosquito or another mosquito that bites it will spread it to numerous other person with whom this mosquito interacts, as in bites as such. The only condition is that the mosquito should be a vector, which is a Aedes aegypti mosquito, and then the transmission cycle can occur as such, making the person very vulnerable to having fever, to having all the symptoms that we just discussed. Also to note that herein, when the RBCs are outgrowing, when the RBCs are busting out of the liver, what happens more is that hemozoin is produced. And this hemozoin itself is something that is responsible for causing chills, fever, etc. It basically triggers down your system in order to identify that something has occurred, and that's when you start to get having fever, and the cycle continues. So that's pretty much about the transmission of this particular disease. Always know that this transmission is facilitated by the presence of a vector, It is also seen that sometimes perinatal transfer is also seen in case of female who give birth to a new infant. It is also seen, but the point is that it is not scientifically proven till now. Researches are still going on. So as of now, this is something via which the transmission occurs. Then we have the preventive measures, how we can prevent it. So very first, keep your surroundings clean. Do not let water store in your vicinity. And also, if there are mosquitoes, there are a lot of mosquitoes, use aerosol sprays that might discard them from being around you. Have mosquito nets, manage your environment, use clothes that are full so that the exposure of your skin is minimal to the mosquitoes. Then cover the domestic water wherein it is stored, because at times it is also mandatory to store water, it is also required. So in order to avoid such situations, we can do something like this. We can cover the water wherein we are using it, and that's pretty much about this particular disease. So the exam relevance of this particular notion, this particular topic that we have taken, is for the very purpose that if we talk about global pandemics, if we talk about a way forward about it, if we talk about any other possibility that disease can cause harm to us, then we can quote examples as such. COVID is one, dengue is another, and such diseases come into play every now and then. Why was discussing about the transmission prevention important? Because we live in a society and we are the individuals of this country, and we must be informed about whatever is happening, because we all must swear to the idea of that prevention is always better than cure, and prevention is only possible when we are aware about things. Then also, this particular topic becomes relevant when we talk about your one-day examination, wherein the data will not be asked, of course, but it could be asked about the mode of transmission, the vector's name, and that's how this particular topic becomes very relevant for the purpose of our knowledge, for the purpose of our understanding, regardless of the fact that you are giving the examination, not giving the examination, or just are watching this video for the purpose of your knowledge. We need to know about things that are happening around us, be it in terms of the general developments that are taking place or something as serious as this particular disease. Because at the end of the day, it is us who can decrease the global burden of a disease by preventing ourselves and taking care of the people who are under the impact of it. So I hope that this particular session was of some use to all of you, and you did like the session, and this did give you some insight and the relevance of examination as well. And if that idea is met, if that particular thought is something that I was able to cater to, then please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel UPSC Warriors by Unacademy. With this is me, Nandini, your educator for the day, signing off. Thank you so much.